Yeah,
What's up, T-Law? All right, well, time for Will Sullivan, the newsroom out in Culver City. I filled in for this guy once. This is a rough shift. You always have so much energy and enthusiasm at this hour.
Oh, thanks. I try to. I think for 4 years I've been getting up at 1 in the morning, but I try to match the energy that all of you have there inside the studio, which isn't easy to do. But either way, it is a fun shift. And as you've seen, Jane, these guys are unpredictable as all get out. And we are only, 40 minutes into the first hour. So hang in there and have fun. Meanwhile, we are learning more and more what Jameis Winston was playing with last season. A broken thumb and poor eyesight. That's the perpetual squinting, which led him to get LASIK eye surgery. But that's not all. Not even close. NFL Network insider Ian Rappaport reporting Winston underwent surgery to repair a torn meniscus that needed to be trimmed. These issues may explain why he tossed 33 touchdowns with 30 picks. Winston's future in Tampa, of course, remains very much up in the air. Now, on the topic of Tampa, continuing, Rap Sheet also reporting the Bucs are strongly considering using the franchise tag on Shaq Barrett if they can't reach a long-term deal. This would have an effect on Jameis Winston. If the Bucs tag Barrett, then they can't tag Winston and vice versa. Barrett with a career year leading the NFL with 19.5 sacks in 2019. Now, another pass rusher would like to stay where he is. This, of course, depends on whether the money will be there as well. Jadeveon Clowney telling ESPN he would definitely like to return to Seattle, but is also open to new opportunities if it comes down to that. He had 3 sacks, a pick, and 4 forced fumbles in 13 games last season. Another pass rusher was part of our NFL Scouting Combine coverage, Cam Jordan, also friend of the show. NFL Network's Mike Silver reporting Jordan played the final 5 games of the season and the Pro Bowl with an adductor muscle torn off the bone. He suffered the injury in the loss to the 49ers. Now, Jordan underwent core muscle surgery 2 days after the Super Bowl, and he should be ready for training camp. Boy, his pain tolerance to be able to do that. I get a little raspy voice, Jane. I am done for 2 to 3 weeks. I can't handle things.
I'm soft, too. I admit it, Will.
Yeah,
we all are. That's fall off the bone. It sounds like barbecue stuff. But we love him, of course. He's always great on TV and great on the field. We'll get back to you in a minute, but we got to talk some Cowboys.
Yep.
Okay. Jane, nobody in the industry more plugged in than you about the Cowboys. You heard Jerry last week mention that about a possible Dez Bryant reunion. He's been thinking about it in the shower. That was his quote, which everybody laughed at, but I actually think is actually significant. What did you think of the quote, and what do you think of the likelihood that number 88 could be back with the Cowboys?
Well, on the quote, I used to have a radio show in Dallas called The Elfin Slater Show, and so Jerry would come on once a week, and we would interview him. And when he would talk to us, he was typically driving his car, he was having breakfast, and he's constantly in movement. Like, we'd hear him tapping the spoon on the side of a coffee mug or thumping his hands against the car. And, you know, typically you're like, hey, it's radio, you know, but you don't tell Jerry anything, right?
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, I think I've often joked that this man doesn't sleep. It's pretty amazing. I think he's one of those guys that has a notepad next to his bed.
An idea pad.
He's taking notes,
sure.
Right?
Vampire Diaries.
But what I thought was fascinating about this, I had gone out and done a sit-down interview with Dez Bryant with my producer Bobby Belton in Dallas. We have a podcast for Fox in the Herd. It's called the Boys and Girl Podcast, and Dez and I sat down 4 hours after he'd gotten cut from the Cowboys. It was an emotional day. Of course, he name-checked some people over the summer. I thought he had fractured some relationships within the organization. I was there with him when he got picked up by the Saints, cut 2 days later because he was turning upfield and he, tore his Achilles. And so I think a lot of people sort of dismiss this idea of a comeback. And my argument's been, if you know where Dez came from and where he got, a return is not that improbable for a guy that has willed himself past everything he grew up with. With that being said, he was very candid about where his mind was at. He got really depressed and really struggled with a lot of things after he got cut from the Cowboys. And he said, I asked him, he said, you had a chance to go to Cleveland, the Ravens. Do you regret it? And he said, no, my head wasn't right. His head has been right. He reached out to Stephen Jones himself. He doesn't even have his agent doing this stuff. Reached out to Stephen Jones, and he told me he was encouraged by the fact that Stephen's typically pretty blunt with him. And Stephen did not rule out the possibility of him coming back, and that's fueled him even more. So now we're seeing him at Apex in Fort Worth, Patrick Mahomes throwing to him. Guys, he's showing up 15 to 20 minutes ahead of of his workouts, which if you've covered him the way that I have, that was one of the big knocks on Dez. You're not going to physical therapy. Your body's not in shape. You're not... are you setting a bad example for young receivers in the room? And he was candid. He said, no one's paying me to do this. Football's important to me. My daughter asked me, Daddy, are you ever going to play football again? He said, and that gutted me. And the fact that Stephen Jones didn't turn him down, he said he is now motivated more than ever. And so I was shocked that not only did Jerry not dismiss this, but is a strong possibility they're going to go to his workout, because Dez is literally practicing. If this is the Cowboys facility, here is the performance center he's practicing at. He is making sure that they have no excuses not to come over and at least give him a look. And I think this Amari Cooper thing is going to be intriguing. Yeah. What they do with, obviously, the draft. Michael Gallup, I think, is a superstar. Kay Adams, and I think he's, coming a long way. But I think what's important about Dez, you add him to his roster, maybe bring him into training camp, say you're going to go on the practice squad. You have to work your way up.
Wow.
Humble him a bit, because I think he's in a humble place. But seeing him work with guys like Corey Coleman and Lil Jordan Humphrey at his workout, this is a guy I think you want in your receiver room. Yeah. I think he builds up the guys around him. There were people showing up at the facility when we tweeted out we were there, throwing up the X and waiting for autographs. His light, his energy is still very iconic in Dallas. And quite frankly, I feel like that team sort of needed a player like that since he's been gone.
No doubt about it. Listen, and Dez said he had something really big planned for 2020, and I feel like this might be it. And speaking of those fractured relationships, one of those was Jason Garrett. Jason Garrett is no longer there. Yep. So maybe it might be easier for him to walk into that building because some of those individuals that the bridges may be burned with aren't in there.
And over the weekend, he was spotted at Nick and Sam's. It was Michael Gallup's birthday, and he sort of bumped into all the guys, and he said that he's cool with the Sean Lees of the world. He's sort of, the one thing about Dez, yes, there is an emotional element to him, but he's also really good at relationships, and he sort of followed up with these guys, and I think there's a possibility there could be a reunion.
Jane, great stuff.
Jane, awesome.
All right, so what should the Redskins do with the number 2
lineman award? We always see the old lineman put on a show. They did this weekend, too. But the guy who blew us all away was my man, Tristan Wirfs, running a 4.8, 5.40, 36.5 vertical, 10.1 broad jump. Striker, talk about Tristan.
Unbelievable kid from Cedar Rapids, Iowa. And this thing was absolutely ridiculous. What I love most is mom, Sarah.
Yeah.
And I got to do the whole story. She has worked at the same Target store for 28 years.
Unbelievable.
She has the entire town that's following this young man. Tristan Wirfs is a great kid, and he became a first-round pick and then some this weekend.
Look out.
Gosh, if I can do damage in there on my salary, imagine what you would get on your NFL salary.
Hey, now. Great hot dogs at Target, too. Sneaky great. What's up next, Jen?
All right. It's the That Is Not Normal award. This award goes to a prospect who did things that are usually not possible for someone of his size and position. This year's award goes to the guy I gave a shout-out earlier, Isaiah Simmons.
Yeah.
Ran a 4.39 40 and had a 39-inch vertical jump.
Come on, Isaiah.
I ran this at Pro Bowl.
How'd it go? What'd you get?
I ran a 5.44, which I thought was respectable, right? But I thought I was going fast. This is trucking it.
Wait, so you're way faster than Rich Eisen.
Yeah,
Dude, don't,
way faster.
It gets sensitive. We got to be careful there.
Hey, be proud of your speed. Come on now, Jay. It's hard to be fast.
As he points out, he ran in a suit. So I told him next time I'm in LA, we're gonna
This
step
guy's
up.
240, Simmons, and ran a 4.39 40. It is really unbelievable. And the best part is that's not even like the strength of his game, his versatility and everything else he does.
Plays linebacker, DN, safety, corner. Put him everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Next up, it's the In the Face Award, which goes to someone who used his head, but not in the way you might think. After day one, South Florida tight end Mitchell Wilcox took the honor. But after this weekend, the true winner of the award is Texans offensive line coach Mike Devlin, who was running the drills with the bags. Watch this footage here. He's watching it as the coach. And kicks him right in the face.
Oh, that's awesome.
Unbelievable. And Devlin even has a grin here. Look at this.
I love that we've got slow-mo. Can you imagine those guys playing that over and over in the coach's room?
And the best part is he wore the hat. The hat stays on. Mike Devlin, we see you. Great job, coach.
That's the video Nate watches on World Star.
Yes, in the face.
That's
in the face. In the face.
That's how you make an initial impression, though. They're not going to forget that.
No,
kid.
that's it.
All right. So I got one. This one, it's the One-Hit Wonder Award, which goes to someone who had a big impact on this year's combine, but it wasn't here for long. The moment where a guy looks back at this year's winner, Fred the Sled. How about this one, guys? Let's check this out right here. Do we have
let's roll it.
We got a clip.
Hate to inform everybody. There are the sleds. Lonely. Unused, discarded. because, well, couldn't learn very much from him last night. And also, somebody decided